Would you look at it? Would you just look at it? I mean, that's a great view. We got a beautiful sunset. We are here in San Diego on Mission Bay, and it is a gorgeous day. But you're not here for the view. You're here for a podcast. So we are here today. I am blessed to have my guest, Daphne, who's my coworker as well over at Cannabist. So welcome, Daphne.
Hello, thank you.
Thanks
Happy
for
to be
being on.
here.
So I wanted to get you on. We're going to talk about, this is your first job in the cannabis industry, right?
It sure is.
Awesome. So we're going to talk about like what got you to switch over to the cannabis industry. What's your experience been like at Cannabis? How'd you think it was different? We're going to dive into all that.
Nice.
But first, I did want to say I did not hire Daphne. So if you think it's just like the Shaggy, Daphne, I do have Riley, aka Scrappy Doo, and I have Scooby down here as well with us. Oh
no.
Scooby.
Technical difficulties.
Sorry. Scooby. Yeah. Sorry about that. But yeah, so I didn't hire Daphne, but it was awesome. She got hired and we had another person from the gang. So
Such a coincidence.
you're right. What did you believe them when they said that we had like somebody working Shaggy?
Well, it's funny because I remember like coming in as a guest and like learning your name was Shaggy and being like, no way, really? Like what? And then like I'm Daphne too. But then it's funny because now I feel like I'll be working and I'll just overhear people be like, what? Your name's Shaggy? And I'm like, oh, that was me. Like
right, just a few months ago.
Yeah.
Well, it's awesome. And if you're applying to Cannabis, not saying guaranteed job, but if your name's Fred or Velma, might help you out. If we could get the whole freaking like Mission gang there, that would be incredible, and people would just lose their minds. Like they already lose it seeing me.
True.
Now that we have me and you, if we
True.
could just add a few more, it's completely insane.
I agree.
We are getting close to. Oh, alarm didn't go. I'm being the alarm. But we are getting close. You want to start packing up, or let's talk about what we're going to be smoking on? What did you choose?
I chose Pure Beauty today. It's one of my favorite brands that we carry. Well, I already talked them up before I really tried it, just because they're women owned, and I will always shout out women owned businesses. But then I tried, I think it was a pre-roll first, and I was like, oh, that shit's good.
Yeah.
So I hadn't had this strain before, and I was like, seems like a good time to try it.
What strain did you pick?
Oh, I think it's called Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel? Nice. Absolutely. So that was a good one. And then I went a little mix today. I love my sativas. So I went a Tropicana from CBX crossed with a Key Lime Jack from Maven, which is really nice. I love Maven. We used to carry them, and we're about to hopefully get them back in the shop. Oh, and there is our alarm. It is 7:19. So if you want to pack up your piece, and then that way we can all smoke together at 7:20. And I know it's not 4:20, but it's 4:20 somewhere. And most of these shows will be live at 4:20. But if I have a guest agree to be on the show, I will find any way to make it happen, even if it's a little bit later. So I'm ecstatic. And we still get to, it'll be I should look up, like eventually have like where it is.
You're like,
yeah,
it's 4:20
it's
in
4:20
Hawaii.
in like, yeah, Mexico and Guam and like wherever it be. So maybe next time, or that'll be a feature I'll start having, but most of the time I try to do a 4:20 here anyways.
Yeah, or you could just do like the clocks in the back room that are just stuck on 4:20 all
right. Now I had a multiple pieces to choose from. Any reason this one called to you?
It's it's whimsical and fun. Which spoke to me. It's giving Smurf a little bit in a good way. Yeah, I feel like I could like escape in there and live a cottagecore life.
Oh, absolutely. It's funny. I actually was just given that piece like a week ago.
Really?
Yeah, that one, this one, and the I one that I have. My buddy was he's taking a break from smoking and gonna quit, and he was like, I wanted him to go somewhere where they'll be used. So he knew it was right. Nice. You want to pack up your piece and we will smoke together?
Classic stoner running behind schedule.
Oh, no, we're good. It's still 7:20. So. And if you're in the chat, if you're watching along, if you want to comment what you're smoking on or a picture of your piece or anything like, oh, no, you can do pictures. YouTube
I
comments.
know.
But if you want to comment what you're smoking on, say what's up, or ask your questions, we'll ask them to Daphne directly.
Also, this bowl looks like a tree trunk.
Right? I love it. Well, cheers.
Cheers to the governor.
Mm. So tasty. So,
There we
reason I'm
go.
here is to ask about your experience. So, how long have you been working at Cannabis?
Just like a couple months.
Yeah.
Barely.
And you've been smoking way before that, though, right? And
Yeah.
consuming. How long have you been using cannabis?
First time I smoked was, I think, like my junior year of high school. I did wait kind of a while. I feel like both my parents were sober growing up, and like it's funny because you know those commercials back when we were younger that was like, "This is your friend
like
on
thunked
weed,"
in and just
like
flat.
deflated.
Yeah. Or were the dogs talking to him?
Yeah. Those never really worked on me, but like going to AA meetings with my parents worked on me because
Oh yeah, because you see the serious like problems that people can have.
And I mean, like as far as that commercial goes, I feel like weed actually feels the opposite to me. Like it feels like uplifting, or like I'm hanging out with friends, or like, you know, it's like a hug.
Yeah.
Not like I mean, you know, I'm sure whatever.
Yeah, you're good.
But yeah, I've always just enjoyed the feeling, and it's come and go from my life depending on like where I'm living or like circumstances, but it's always been kind of like I don't know, like ritualistic or like a spiritual practice for me.
No, absolutely.
And so when I moved back home to San Diego in the fall, it was like, well, what should I do? Before this, I was making whiskey, and so I applied to bartend a couple places, but lucked out and got hired at Cannabist.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it was just more just a job that called you instead of.
It really was. I mean, like, I do love cannabis and am happy to be in the industry, but it is very different than what I was expecting also.
Yeah. So let's get into that. What were you expecting the cannabis industry to kind of be like?
Well, I guess it is like and unlike what I was expecting, because I definitely was expecting it to be chill and fun, which it is. I think like all of the people we work with are really fun to be around and like easygoing.
And that definitely helps make the job a lot easier.
Yeah, because anywhere you work, you just have to be there all day, you know? So like the people you're around make a big difference. I think naively I wasn't expecting it to be so like just high volume, like in terms of
how busy we are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I would usually come like on an off hour where there's like a couple people in the store or whatever.
Yeah, so you didn't experience it like Saturdays or Friday night.
Insane. Like even when we're slow, we're not really that slow, I feel like. And so it's way more like just a lot of conversation all day, like a lot of really short combos.
Yeah.
Which for me can be a little tiring, but overall it's been really cool, and like I feel like I've already learned so much from everyone who's way more knowledgeable than me.
And you'll definitely get more of the knowledge. That's the great thing about the cannabis industry is we're still discovering so much, like with the research that we're doing. So we're learning a lot of it as we're working with all these like brands. And so there'll be brands like CBN, which is great for sleep, wasn't even really used 2 years ago when I first came on. Like nobody really knew about CBN. And then it was one or two brands, companies that were like, hey, we have this. And we're like, what's CBN? And then you do more research on it. And then now you see how many brands have CBN in it, and it's grown. And that's what I like seeing is the products change with the customers too, and the knowledge.
Yeah. And it's cool. I think it's cool that like I'm learning more that there's like Well, if you're nerdy about it, you can really learn a lot about, like, I didn't know that, I didn't really know anything about terpenes or like how those are more like indicative of
Yes, appearance by Scooby.
how you're gonna feel than like indica sativa hybrid necessarily. And like the correlations between that and like whiskey tasting notes, I feel like I was like, this is clicking for me.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So like learning that kind of stuff, but then also like on the more accessible side, I feel like it's way easier than I thought it would be to help people find what they need, because like someone will come in and be like, I need a gummy. And I'm like, okay, what are you going to do when you take the gummy? Like, are you going to watch a movie? Are you going to go to the park? Are you going to fall asleep? You know?
Yeah.
But like, I think the brands are like making an effort to make the products more self-explanatory and like accessible to like, okay, I don't necessarily study terpenes and like know what strains are going to be best for me, but like I know that I want to take a gummy for this type of feeling, and it's like easy to do that.
Yeah, and I really like the way you explained it. When a customer comes in and asks for something, you ask what they're using it for first, because I just had a customer the other day that came in and she asked the same thing, and so I was like, well, let's learn about you first,
Right.
and then when I can find what you're looking for. And she said at another shop they just went and they're like, oh, here's what you need, and went and grabbed a bunch of things and was like, this is where you go. And she's like, I didn't even tell you what I was trying to feel. She's like, this
Or
is the
like,
best.
how often
And
do you take edibles, if you do, or like,
exactly.
if you ever have before.
And so that's why when people ask me, what do you like? I'm like, what are you using it for? Because I've tried everything. And so it's different, and tolerances are way different too.
Right.
And so, yeah, it's really important as Budtender is. And that's why I love that you're new, but you do that first, is you try to figure out why they're using the, and then going from there.
Yeah. I feel like what I lack in cannabis knowledge, I make up for, like, I want to help.
Absolutely. No, and that's the best thing. And then also not giving an answer, a BS answer,
Right.
instead saying, I don't know, let me grab somebody that does.
Totally.
And that will always help. And then, sit there and listen to them.
Yeah.
I learned a lot of stuff about like the CBGs and stuff like that from LV.
Yeah.
Now I know a lot about cannabis, and she comes to me on a lot of things,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of things that I'll bounce off her and things like that. And I think it's using each other is a great tool.
I love just like eavesdropping on people as they're helping other people, and like stalking and like learning.
I also love that you were in the alcohol industry, because it's dealing with people serving, and that's where I came from as well. Was Cannabis the only dispensary or cannabis job you applied for, or was it?
Yeah, it is, but I think like comparing my experiences in those industries is hard to do, because like I did bartend at first, and I always tell our customers, like, you guys are so much more patient and kind than drunk people.
Oh, that's what I love. Yeah. No, I came from the bar, so I much try to deal with stoners and drunks any day. And being somebody that drinks and smokes, like, it's a lot easier.
Yes, same. And we don't have to do dishes.
Right.
Okay, I lost my train of thought.
You're good. We were talking about the industries, like comparing like your whiskey experience and then entering the cannabis experience.
Yeah. It's hard to compare, because like what I ended up doing in whiskey and what I really loved about it was on the production side. So like working with my hands and like seeing the process from start to finish, and like what we do is so much. I mean, it's cool because you get to like see how people are benefiting from it. But it's very much like, here's the end product.
Yeah.
Bye. So I like.
Now, would you ever want to switch or transition to that? So maybe not whiskey or so, but switch to like a brand, or like where you're making concentrates or edibles. Or I used to work for a drink company. We would make coffees and teas, and so it was brewing and making them cold and creating new recipes. And yeah, we did some amazing things. My I don't know where I have, but I actually have a blackberry lemonade that I made. That was my creation, and we sold it. I marketed it. I made commercials for it. I got it into stores. I trained our sales reps. I did everything except make the label for it. But I
Wow.
was a part of from the process of beginning to end and took a project, and it's really cool. And yeah, I think that's like it's a fun aspect, but it's also a way different aspect working for a brand than a dispensary. So, but
Totally.
would you ever want to expand in that role, or do you like the dispensary side? Or
I don't know, honestly. I do miss working with my hands, so
Mhm.
like there's always that part of me that will like take some opportunity that's like that.
Yeah.
But I also like I feel like the older I get, the less I feel like my job is who I am.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like we were saying before, like you spend so much time at your job, it does need to kind of like align personally in some way, So I don't know. Like I also think about doing
Two
comedy
seconds. I
and
just
stuff.
need
Oh
to
yeah,
grab a rag.
you're good.
A little quick break. Sorry.
I need to drink some water.
All right. So comedy. So is that your passion and your
Yeah.
love?
It's definitely a core tenet of who I am as a person. I think, like I've had a lot of different types of jobs, and I feel like all the different places I've lived and like worked and everything, the one through line is just like if I can make someone laugh, then it's like a good day. You know
Have
what
you
I mean?
done any stand up yet, or gone to open mics or anything like that?
I did one 5-minute routine.
Okay.
And I didn't kill, but I didn't bomb.
Okay.
So
Hey, it's hard.
Yeah.
Being in front of people is definitely only few people have it and have that skill to be able to conquer their stage fright.
Yeah.
I personally love it, but it's like it's how you use it, because I still get the anxiety, the like in your stomach right before you go on stage. But every time I feel that, I jump even further into what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because it's the times I felt that was like right before I moved to California, right before I like it's always it's embracing, but it's a good feeling. And I think like that's it when you need to jump. So when you get that crazy built up feeling, go for it even more. Even if you fail, just go for it, because you're going to try doing something you love.
Yeah. So who knows, career wise, like I think I'll always be making jokes, whether or not that's paying my bills.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Awesome.
But cannabis has been really fun.
So, have you been to any other dispensaries besides Cannabis, like in other states or here in California or anything?
Definitely. I used to go to Urban Leaf before I found Cannabis, just because it was like the closest one to
Yeah, absolutely. What do you
Um,
see the biggest differences in those dispensaries?
I think it's just more comfortable to like choose in ours,
Mm-hmm.
which like in theory you could go up to someone and like ask for their preferences and stuff, but one of my favorite things to do at work is like someone asks for help and then I like show them 3 things they might like and then just like walk away. Because I take a long time to make decisions, and like I'm also very visual, so like just hearing someone say 3 things is
No, and that's the best thing is like you do have to have your top 3, and that's why I say with any category is you kind of have different options of prices and stuff. But when somebody asks me what they're looking for, like a gummy or so, I'll always pick 3, and I'll ask them on different tolerances. So I pick a really low one that's really cheap, easy, like a mid tier, and then like a really top tier. And then that way I kind of show them the variety, but it's also there's so many products at our shop that like
it's
I
so
can't.
overwhelming.
If I had named every one, it would mess you up even more.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, totally.
So do you think you're gonna stay in the cannabis industry for a while, or do you kind of want to just seeing the next step and enjoying learning and everything?
I'm trying to be more in the moment and less like thinking too far ahead.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
It's good right now. And that's good for me.
Now you're starting to get your, solid foundation at Cannabis and learn your spot. as somebody that just entered, what advice would you give to somebody, or was there something you just expected to be different in the cannabis industry from when you started,
Ugh, I don't know.
or somebody's thinking about like joining the cannabis industry? Like, what kind of got pushed you into it? Was it just getting called, or was
I
there like,
think, I mean, it's so fun. I think the like a surprising fun thing to me, which like if I had thought about it for 2 seconds, I would have known that everyone loves weed. But like the types of people who come in is everyone.
everyone?
Everyone.
Yeah, ages from
Like
18 if they had their med card,
Yeah.
up to, I think the oldest patient I've helped was like
90s.
94, 95. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's a lot of parents and military
People come in.
and
I love
like
seeing parents with
everybody.
their kids.
That's
It's so
right.
cool.
I love that because me and my dad smoked together, and it really brought us closer together and
Yeah.
everything. And he loves what I do. He's like
Yeah.
believes in it, and so like the fact that he does has like me never even think twice about what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And so when we smoked, it really brought us like closer together. And now my dad knows everything about me.
Yeah.
Like I've told him every crazy thing I got away with in high school. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing my dad doesn't know about me.
Yeah.
And so I think it's really, I'm not saying you should smoke with your parents, but I'm just saying it definitely helps bring that connection closer because at that point you're no longer, it's not as much of like parent son, like you're already established yourself, and so now
Right.
it's kind of as an equal and as a friend, somebody you
Yeah.
can learn from wisdom and stuff like that. So
Totally. I think, yeah, like being an adult and finding the friendship
yeah.
with your parents is cool and hard sometimes. But cool.
And so when I moved out here, I went back like a couple months later for the first time. This was years ago, but for a friend's wedding, and my dad had bought a silicone nectar collector. The Davrex, he had a nectar collector, and I was like almost cried of like a proud dad moment of like I got him to do dabs or like try dabs
my
and stuff, and
God.
I was the one that kind of
And you were
introduced
like,
him
"Where
to
did you
dabs.
get that?"
And so when I came up, no, like I have it in nectar collector before I moved out,
Yeah.
and then it like broke or something, and I was like whatever, and
Yeah.
like and then when I came back, like my dad still had my bong like in my room and like it was sitting there and stuff. I gave it away after that, but
Yeah.
and then he had a nectar collector, and I was just like, this is so awesome. I'm so proud of you. Like
Aw.
yeah, so it's just awesome just seeing the way that like life is changing and like the country's changing and the laws and just how it's changed
Yeah.
from everything. But
Totally.
all right, so we are getting kind of closer to wrapping it up. I try to keep it within that like 15, 30 minutes. So I'm gonna do just a quick rapid questions,
Ooh,
lightning
okay.
round,
Fun.
all stoner related. So what is your favorite strain right now?
Devil Driver Cam.
Oh, the Devil Driver. That is a Melonade cross with a Sunday Driver. Is so good, and actually just won an award at Women's Canna events,
Let's
Canna
go.
Awards 2 weeks ago.
All
Yeah,
the
best
feminine
indoor flower.
energy
There
we
you
just
go.
knew.
What is your favorite way to consume or smoke? Edibles, vapes, bongs. What do you like?
I love a good bong. But I also like the convenience of edibles or like
Is there
the
a favorite
mobility.
edible?
I love the Lost Farms.
Lost Farms, good
Yeah.
choice. What is your favorite movie to put on Windstone or show? It doesn't have to be a stoner movie, but like your like favorite like go-to watch.
The Midnight Gospel.
I don't know that.
It's a limited series on Netflix, I think. It's like 9 episodes or whatever.
Okay.
And it's Duncan Trussell, I think.
Yeah.
He's like a famous podcaster or whatever. And they're podcast interviews that he has done over time, but they're drawn like the setup of the cartoon is that he like goes to different, he like has this world simulator and he goes to different universes and like interviews someone there.
Okay.
But it's all very like, it's chaotic, but it's really cool and it's like really soothing because the conversations are really deep and fun to listen to.
Awesome. What is your favorite music to put on when you're stoned? It can either be a genre, band, song.
I've just been listening to Sierra Farrell on like nonstop lately, so
All
it'll
right.
have to be her new album.
And then what is your munchie food?
Cereal, and if I'm feeling crazy, cereal with ice cream instead of milk.
Okay. All right, I like it.
You
Fucks
heard
with
it
it.
here
Yep.
first.
And then last is, what is a funny moment to either buy weed or sell weed or that you've had? Or just a funny time when you smoked?
Oh God. The first time I ever bought weed was like I texted my one friend from choir class who I knew would know where to get it. And she was like, I'm out of town, but text my friend. And so me and my two other friends who like never, we were like not about that life yet. And we like parked in front of this mansion in La Jolla, and it was like, kind of like abandoned looking, but then
Mhm.
like we walked in and it just like smelled like weed, and we turned the corner in the hallway and it just smelled more and more like weed, and this girl opened the door and it's like three huge dudes with like the room was just like full of jars of weed, and like they were just like weighing it out and stuff, and we probably overpaid for an eighth or something, but it was like out of a movie, it felt like.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show. Make sure you come into Cannabist to see Daphne and myself, Shaggy. Is there any last piece of advice, or where can people follow you to find out what you're doing? Any stand up coming up?
Well, I just requested to have Tuesday nights off to do open mic at the Comedy Store.
Okay,
So
nice.
hopefully there. My Instagram's still.daff, and yeah, I think advice for smoking is just like slow is fine. You don't have to like do the
Yep.
most. It's not a competition.
No, absolutely. No, go at your own pace. Do it as we say, not as we do. I'm going to end off on a rip. It's fine if you don't want to, but
I
you're more
do
welcome
have
to
to
join.
drive home.
No
so I
worries.
will-
So I appreciate you coming on, and thank you for anybody that has joined and check us out. I have episodes about twice a week, and hopefully it'll be 3 to 5 times a week coming soon once I have more guests. This has been a trip down Stoner Drive, and I hope you all have a happy 420.